Hey guys, it's me. Welcome to another episode of Trendy with Kim Allison. And today I want to give my guest, Miss Cindy Earl Covic, her flowers because she was super nervous. She disclosed to me from the get-go that she is beyond shy, which I can relate to because that's a part of my journey is breaking through that shyness. She has so much to give you guys, and I hope that, Cindy, if you're listening, I hope that you know that and that you can find your voice and just shout it louder because your page says it all, but your voice, I believe, will be that much more powerful. She has just an amazing travel story, everything she's done, been through. She does every service. She's been in the industry for 20 years. I enjoy talking to her, and I think that your shyness, Cindy, again, is pretty cute, and I think you guys will too. But yes, this one was a gem. And if you're listening, you're not going to get to see the visuals because my guest, we talk about their work. We showcase some of their work on the show, and you can only get that by watching on YouTube. Anyways, thank you guys for listening, watching, subscribing. Hit that little button if you want more of what I'm putting out there into the world, and also share it with your friends if you think that someone else would benefit from listening to these episodes. Just a little quick update with me. I'm going to be, and my birthday is this month, you guys, April 18th. Feel free to travel, take the day off. Not sure why it's not a national holiday. It should be. But I employ you to go ahead and enjoy April 18th because I know I will. I'm going to go to the Behind the Chair Trends 2025 show in Miami Beach at the end of this month. And then from there, I'm going to do some traveling with my hubby. Again, you guys, thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. We did have some glitches, with Wi-Fi, etc. The story of my life doing this show. But you know what, you guys, I'm back here pulling I am the whole entire production. It is just me, myself, and I. And until, it doesn't make sense to pay $1,200 a month, $300 per episode to go in studio when you're just learning something. You're just kind of getting your feet wet and seeing how you do. And, business, there's no free in business. So right now this is something I enjoy. Hopefully it can be a business someday and I can actually monetize. Who knows? I don't know. But right now it is not monetized. So I am going to be doing all of the work. I also want to learn all of the back end of it myself, just so I know, because even when you hire other people like a producer eventually or a podcast studio or whatever, you still need to know what you're spending your money on. So I appreciate you guys just kind of sticking with me through all the bumps and the bruises. And when this thing is ran like a well-oiled machine, you're gonna go, oh my God, I remember the beginning of all of this when she was like a whole hot mess. Anyway, let me stop talking because I can ramble on forever. I'm rambling. Okay, you guys, enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Cindy Earl Covic, and you're listening to Trendy with Kim Allison.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Trendy with Kim Allison. Today, I am thrilled to introduce you to the talented Cindy Earl Covic. Known for her exceptional work with great lengths extensions and a well-rounded skill set from color to cutting, Cindy has become a favorite in our hairdressing industry. With 15 nominations for the BTC One Shot Awards, amazing, and a growing following on the socials, Cindy brings a wealth of knowledge, talent, and inspiration to the table. Let's dive into her journey, you guys, her approach to hair, and the insights she's gained along the way. So, are you ready to get inspired? Cindy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Kim.
Oh, I am excited that you're here and that you accepted my invitation. If you've listened to any of my episodes, I do get a little salty when I get left on red. I've
Oh,
decided that is my problem. It's not that you can't come on my show. Not that at all. You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. I get it. We're busy. But when you leave me on red, I don't even like that in my personal life
yeah,
when you're texting somebody and you're like, oh, so you read that. And you just,
yeah,
I would prefer a thank you for the invite, but no thank you.
right.
Right.
My
So
kind of
I
girl.
I yeah, I digress. I feel like I don't want to say anything because if I say I don't care, why am I still talking about it? But clearly I am not over it. So all righty. So let's get into you, Cindy, and your journey. How did you first get inspired? How did you first get into hairdressing? And how did you choose this career path?
Well, I guess you could say it sort of like runs in the family a little bit. I think I have an aunt and two uncles that do hair, but it really was like my last trip home. I'm born South African, so my
Mhm.
uncle has a hair or had a hair salon there, and it just sort of led me to hair, I guess, just seeing them and getting inspired. Well, that's you can get that from anything, but yeah.
Yeah. So what's it like growing up in South Africa? Like when did you come to the States?
Oh, my journey is kind of long. So from birth till 8, I moved to England. From 8 to 11, I moved to Canada. And um I believe I don't know how long it was that I've been in Canada for, but yeah, and then I met my husband and I moved here.
Can I have your life? I
Yeah.
want your life.
I've
I
traveled a lot.
that I'm just starting to travel for the first time, and, outside of going to the obvious Mexico, the Caribbean, that doesn't count. I
Right.
mean, it counts, but it doesn't count. But, yeah, so, wow, what a beautiful life and journey so
Yeah.
far to have experienced all of those cultures. So what do you think about the US as in compared to the places that you've had the privilege of living?
I mean, everywhere is great, you know? At every point in your life, it's different, I guess, because it's different ages. So I've experienced like great things within those ages. Here, um, I don't know, land of the free, make it what you will, right?
Mhm.
So there's a lot of opportunity here. And I guess that for my family, that's why we moved so much for opportunity.
I love that. Yeah, that's why people come here. And when you are from here, such as myself, I guess it's easy to take for granted and kind of, shit all over your own country when you don't have you really don't have a comparison.
Yeah,
And anytime that you go to a new place, it's always going to be so much better than where you came from until you learn the lay of that land.
right.
Right?
True.
So, yeah, I appreciate you having love for this country because I know I do, especially in a season like this, what we just went through last week.
I don't
So,
pray for you.
yeah, exactly. You have an impressive following on Instagram, I noticed. What's helped you grow your audience the size that you've grown your audience? Like, do you have any strategies, any favorite types of content that you post that you see one does well over the other? Any advice you have for new stylists who are looking to grow their following?
So for me, it's just you just gotta keep at it and see sort of like what works for you.
Hmm.
I think a lot of times I just go against the grain because I know what will work, but I don't always want to like post the same things all over again. But mainly, everybody would tell you, it's posting this many days and all this, and I really just focused a lot on doing that in the beginning. Um, but I've been critiqued before, and they tell you to pick a lane or like whatever, but I don't want to. So, um, do what's good for you and just be authentic to you. And if you work hard at it, you'll find your niche and you'll get there. I'm still, searching. It's not that's why you say I have a variety of things. But yeah, because I post different stuff all the time because that's what I want to post, not necessarily I don't like to just be told what to post when I know what works. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
So you're not necessarily interested in niching yourself.
no,
You're like I have broad strokes. I'm gonna post what I feel like posting.
right. And I'm mostly like it's education. I like to educate, you know. I guess if that was a thing, my niche would be, just to educate.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And do you find that one platform is better than the other, or are you on all of them, or just do you stick with Instagram?
So yeah, I have Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, but Instagram is where sort of like I blew up first. And then TikTok, I sometimes try, but I give up. You know, it's a lot
Yeah,
of work. It's a lot of work to have so many like social media things. And then at that point, you're going to have to get someone to manage it for you because who has that much time? It's
I'm
like,
telling you, it is a lot of work. And even, when I started doing this show, I think in my head, I was like, oh, I love talking to people. That's the best part of my job, working behind the chair or listening to the stories and learning about my clients. And I'm like, oh, yeah, but there's this other part, curating it all,
right.
and getting eyeballs on the show. I think the interviews are great. They're great conversations. I think there are a lot of insights, and nobody's watching them. So,
Yeah.
of course, that bothers you. And then you're like, okay, how do I get the eyeballs on, my content?
Yeah.
So, any type of, I think we all suffer from frustration in that area. And everybody says, like, I was a dumbass and bought Kris Kardashian's masterclass. I'm like, okay, all you told me was you got to post on everything.
Right.
All right. So that cost me $200. Okay, great. And posting on everything, like TikTok doesn't want to see certain things. They only want to see how to stuff.
Yeah. Hmm.
Instagram, I think they're more open to everything. And I feel more hairdressers live on Instagram. What do you think?
Um,
Working behind the chair
I
hairdressers.
feel, yeah, I'm with you there, like for sure. But
Hmm.
like when I scroll on my TikTok, it's just crap. It's not even a lot of hair.
You know what a social media manager who does really big accounts. She's just one of my somebody I met's daughter. She's on a whole nother level, but she says she'll be my mentor. But she was saying on TikTok, she said, I hate to say it, Kim, we call it shit content. You just have to post anything, 1 to 3 videos per day.
That's a
No,
lot.
I don't want to do that. So being nominated with all of the busyness, what we just talked about, you're killing it on social media, which is amazing.
Thank you.
Being not before we get into your actual work videos that you sent me, being nominated 15 times, which, oh my gosh, that means you're in it. You're in it when you can create something and post it
Mhm.
to such a huge event like the BTC Awards. That's incredible. Can you tell us more about that journey? Like what encouraged you to want to share those moments with the world and what impact has it had on your career, if any?
Um, it's definitely led me to opportunities to like work with brands. What made me want to do it? I just thought, why not? It was free. You just put your hashtag, it didn't hurt anybody to do, or, just to do it. So, um, but yeah, there's been a lot of opportunities and you connect with people on a whole different level and people who are like-minded and you have goals. It's a great community.
Oh, I love that. And so you went to walk someone who's new, who's like, oh my gosh, I would love to post something or be nominated. What are the steps? You just create, and what happens
Exactly.
next?
You just create and take your shot.
Okay.
Um, I haven't like throughout the years it's changed and what they deem is great, but it's like you've become this whole new person. Like before, things behind the chair looked a lot different, right? Now it's you got to get the glam, the makeup, you need a makeup artist and all the stuff. And if taking the time to do that, sometimes you have to take a day to get that just one shot, you know?
So do you hire a photographer? Or are you doing this yourself or
Yeah, I do everything myself. Not because I guess it's just I don't wanna spend the money, just, it's
Mhm.
just, I think it gives you an opportunity to learn a different skill set.
Mhm.
So, I got all the things, the backdrops, you know. I did buy a camera, which I don't use as often because it's just not as fast to get out or do those things. So, um, but I will when I'm taking a day, if I take a day to do a shoot with a model, uh, I'll just shoot both just to have something and take a bunch of pictures because one thing will stick.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an honor because when you think about it, like there's so many people who are putting their entries in and their photos. Um, but what makes you nominated? They nominate you, and who is
Gotcha.
they? I'm not sure. It's the BTC team, you know. So
Hmm.
you kind of often wonder how you get so lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, lucky or that you're actually skilled and worthy. Those are two different things. So I think you're just worthy,
Oh,
right?
thank
So
you.
keep doing it because you're right. To be nominated 15 times is an honor. It is a high, it's an achievement for
Hmm.
sure versus no one noticing you at all, you
Right.
know, and it gives you milestones. You're like, one day that nomination is going to be a win, right?
Yeah.
So, because we're all on our own separate journeys and we're trying to achieve our personal best. It doesn't matter who we're competing against.
100%.
Yeah. So, let's get into some of your beautiful work just to show the people. Airtouch. That's I've not introduced Airtouch to my chair. I certainly have watched a million videos on Airtouch. I have dabbled. I'm like, let me just try. And I feel like it's gonna take more time, you know. So I just put my blow dryer down and keep it moving.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to do Airtouch and how has it been going for you behind the chair?
It's been going great. Like I always love new techniques, and this one helped me through when you get that fine hair client and you just can't back home. Air touch is where it's at. So it definitely is less painful. So when I'm in that scenario, I generally choose it over a back home. And this video just came about because I came into an obstacle and I don't know if you saw, but I used a double air touch technique to blow out that extra dark hair so that I didn't get that light, dark, light sort of band.
Yeah, let's go to it. You're talking here.
Yeah.
Hmm. And when you said light dark band, can you kind of elaborate a little bit more on that for someone who's new?
So I guess in zone one, when you're painting, you're lighting around there. Um, you don't connect through, I guess, zone 2 to 3 because you'll be light on the top and then you'll have like a mid band of darkness
Correct.
because you didn't get that out. So that's why we use the blow dryer to blow that out and then relight that so that it would be cohesive throughout and not give that darkness. Because if I did that technique all throughout, you would see a dark band in your color.
That makes perfect sense. Like you see that shadow, you
Yeah.
know, when you pull the foil, you see that bright root
Hmm.
is what you're saying. And
Yeah.
then you see the shadow from there. So I see what you did here. You air touched and then now you've got a clear canvas and then you pulled out more blonde, probably that was already light.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. And then let's go to this one. So on this one, this is your global process, retouch.
Yes.
So tell us about this one.
I've just recently just been doing this technique. I'm always like trying to figure out what works best. I generally work on like dark hair, Asian hair. And so you don't see the first part of it. And I think why this kind of got a lot of views is just because people like to look at, I don't know, it's somewhat satisfying to them, like painting. I'm not really sure. But
Mhm.
the technique is to do a dry application prior, which is just what that means is a lighter application of lightener. So it's processing really slow. And then going back in there and doing like a little bit heavier saturation with your lightener.
Oh, so when you say dry application prior, are you just meaning when they come in and sit in your chair and you just apply it to dry hair? What do you
Yeah,
mean when you say
like
that?
what I mean is that it's a drier application. So the amount of like lightener that I'm actually putting onto the hair is very light.
I see.
So it gives because it takes such a long time, the process takes a long time. If I had a lot of saturation on that, her fronts would be way lighter. Everything would be way lighter.
Okay, so what you're saying is you apply less density in the lightener
Mhm.
to start,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then, because I'm just as green in color as anybody else, even though I've been doing hair forever, I didn't do color forever. I just started color. So I'm curious about this that you called it a double process, and I get
Mhm.
it. I just trying to get my brain to kick in. The light that just slows down the process is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's the saturation that would get processed a lot faster if it was like thicker.
Got
So
you.
when you do something a lot when I say dry, I just mean less product on the brush when I'm painting the first time around.
Got you. And then you go through a second time and then
Second
layer it on thicker.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that. Did you come up with that technique or is that a technique? Is that a thing?
I don't know if that's saying it's just something that I tried and now I'm just trying to um revamp it, figure out what's when I come into like problems, I just try to figure out how I'm going to solve it. So,
Yeah. And Asian hair, let me tell you, if you can master lightning Asian hair, you are a genius. It is not easy.
yeah, Asian hair is a bit of a bitch.
Yeah, because my husband's Asian and we're both second marriage, so his two children, his daughter, when I first met my husband, she's like, "Oh, I want to go blonde. Can you do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I could do that." Oh my god. The orange of it all. It was so orange. It was so scary, and I could not get past it. And she's like, she was cute about it. She goes, "Oh, whatever." I finally got there, but it took days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was like, when she saw her hair orange, she goes, "Ooh, now I really look Asian." I'm like, "Wow, what does that mean?" I made you really look Asian. I think she's beautiful. Okay, so let's do this one.
By now, you know I like to keep things neat. After blow drying the interior hairs out, we clip up the exterior hairs. Before we complete our side folds, we place the hair onto the foil to lock them in. By
Now that is satisfying. My goodness. I could have used that technique literally last night. That is so clean. And when you work clean, boy, life is easier, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, and I'm definitely a stickler for being neat and tidy.
So you put a low light in the foil.
This particular one, she wanted to be natural, so we air touched, and then the air the hair that we blew out is the hair, um, that I believe we were coloring, so it would give her a dark to light look. So, um, leaving her hair a little bit more natural. I don't think in the video, like this one was a short one, I think, but the technique here was the whole point of it, I guess, is the clips. Because once you blow dry, if I took my neck section down and if I didn't clip the hairs out of the way, they would have mixed with my previous section and then it would just be a muck. So,
Got you. Yeah, for sure. And so you were actually adding what's in the other foils? Are you low lighting? What's in
so
the
we did
foils?
the whole thing,
Okay.
like low lights. Yeah. So when you're
I would
blowing out
love
the
to see the
hair,
after of that.
I think there is a picture on my page of a
Okay.
before and after of this guest. Um, but it's generally when you're blowing out those shorter hairs and then you color them, it's giving you that sort of like natural dark to light effect.
Got you. It's giving you that background, which
Mhm.
makes and so you want to keep that dark color though. You want to keep it soft enough though, right? That you don't look like a piano.
Yeah, like more matching to her natural. Like she wanted to
Mhm.
go closer to her natural.
Okay. Nice. I would love to see a follow-up on that for sure. So I'm gonna find it on your Instagram and post
Yeah.
it so that we can get a visual. That's really cool. I like that. And that's to keep the hairs flat against the color. If
Correct.
I'm not mistaken, because I know gray hair goes wiry and those hairs that pop out don't get colored.
Correct. Yeah, they like to wave at you.
That's hilarious. I get so frustrated with gray coverage. The 10-minute color works on some, doesn't work on others. There's that one hair that won't know, even when I use this method, I've tried foil over the hairline even, I make a little crown out of foil and then still there's that one gray hair. I don't know. What tips do you have for us who get frustrated with gray coverage on the hairline?
Well, this is the number one tip for sure. Uh, Sometimes with gray or coverage in general in the front, the hairs are a little bit finer. So you might have to like change your formula to something a little bit more lighter so it doesn't go like really, really dark around the hairline. Um, but great coverage is a moneymaker, that's for sure.
Mhm. Yeah. And so let's talk about the different brands that you work for. One being Great Lengths, I know. What are some of the others?
I don't necessarily I just want to correct. I don't necessarily work for Great Lengths, though it is a company that I would love to. But I am educated in um their technique. Um, as far as there's just been many brands that like um I've had the opportunity to work for. They tend to sort of like jump in your DMs and, then you have to figure out if they're legit or not and if they sort of go with you and your brand.
Mhm.
Um,
Do you currently have any brand deals?
uh, right now, it's not so much. I am collaborating with Stardust, which is another extension line. Um, and I will be working with Marlowe Beauty,
Okay.
which is similar to like Salon Centric, Cosmoprof. It's
Okay.
smaller. It's a Michigan owned company.
So like a little distributor.
Yeah.
Kinda like we have here, it's called Maka Beauty. I don't know if you
Oh,
guys even have that there. Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, so Great Lengths is one of the extension lines that you choose to use, and I love that they're still around. I met the creator of Great Lengths, that's how old my ass is. and went to Atlanta when they first started, and we were putting the glue on the tips ourselves. We were blending the hair on a what do they call that thing? Spool, whatever that thing is called. A loom is what it's called. And yeah, that was back in the early 2000s. So I love that they're still around. It's a great brand and product. I have trained with Hair Talk.
Okay,
Beat
I've
It
heard of
Rose.
it.
Yeah. Do you do what are the different extension techniques that you do? Do you do Beat It Rose or
There's
just tips?
all of them.
All of them. You're like, whoever comes in my chair. I
Yeah,
love it.
I started, I think, I did Bellamy, and there's like 5 different techniques that they teach. And so,
And which one was that? Bella?
Bellamy.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yep.
And so Great Lengths is like fusion based,
Mhm.
and Bellamy is they have all the different types of hair, and then they
Okay.
teach, tape-ins, I-tips, K-tips, and then there's wefts, and now within wefts have grown massively to volume wefts, genius wefts, volume genius wefts, hand tied. So
Mhm.
um, they teach a technique for these different types of hair.
Mhm.
Um, and I generally do most of them. I also got into comb line and V light just recently.
Yeah, I saw that. V-Light, what's your experience been? How's that going?
I definitely love the concept, but I'm working on it.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out um, how to make it stay a little bit better, because to me it was made to be strand to strand. So when it's like that, the shed is faster,
Mhm.
and therefore your clients have to come in more often.
Mhm. Have you
So
had any problems with hair loss or breakage with those?
no, not necessarily. It's like my clients are just so meticulous, and this they don't want to, they're very light on the hair, so that they don't it's almost like they're not doing what I want them to do sometimes. Is just like brush it, see what it's going to do. If it's going to fall out, then we put more in, but like I need to know
Yeah,
what it.
they don't wanna touch it.
Yeah, they want to be
Mhm.
very gentle. That's the word.
Yeah, and you're like, "Go in, brush it."
Do
It's
it.
supposed to be broken apart a little bit just so we can see how it moves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
I
don't blame
think,
them. Is that a high ticket item?
well, for comb line, yes. I mean, it's pretty, I would say so. So there's an initial cost, and then after 6 to 8 weeks, they come back for. It's very similar to what eyelash extensions in that
Okay.
matter. And
Mhm.
so then the fill is sort of like half the price. But to me, I don't prefer to do the fill, because if I'm filling on hair that's already have that has like the adhesive on it, doesn't sit with me very well. So
Mhm.
I would rather remove everything and then reinstall it.
Right, because it ends up being a bigger problem down the road.
Yeah.
Mhm. Do you get any problems? Are you having any issues with tangling at the root?
Sometimes, yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, and that's with anything, because hair grows in different.
Sorry, I'm leaving.
Why?
Bye.
Sorry.
Oh, I love how cute. That's something my husband would do.
I was like, I'm busy. So can
Yeah,
you
we
be
leave that
quiet?
in. I love that.
I probably rolled my eyes though. But
Yeah, just like I would do. I get it.
so when hair grows and it's sort of like locked in a space, but then you have dormant hairs that don't grow. There's that mix. Nothing is always even. So with any extension, you're going to have a little bit of, you know, but it's up to the client just to um, check in, make sure that the hair is good, or sometimes they have to do a little bit of work on their own, like proper brushing. Brushing is important
Right. Yeah,
to
and
stop that.
yeah, and you have to I always say with extensions, you have to, 1, be able to afford it. Don't
Mhm.
try to budget with extensions, because if you're not doing what's required to maintain them, then it wasn't worth the money you spent to have them installed. So
Right.
if you can't come in regularly for maintenance, if you don't want to pay for what it actually costs to have them installed correctly, et cetera, then you're not a good candidate.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's good to know about extensions. I've always wondered about the V lights. They are very new, and there are a lot of people kind of timid in that area of doing V lights. We have so many variations of extensions today. And I think hair is as unhealthy as it's ever been due to those who wear extensions who don't properly care for the extensions. So as a stylist, you feel responsible for your client's hair no matter what the case is, don't you?
Oh,
When they
for
come
sure.
in, yeah, and you're taking it down and you're like, oh my God, I have a gob of your hair in my hand. So for me, anything with adhesive scares me. I prefer things with thread. Even the beads are a little iffy, because a good old sew-in never hurt nobody, but that's the bulkiness that people don't want with the sew-in. So, with such diverse skills, do you have a favorite service or technique to perform with all the things that you do? Is there one that is your favorite? Like, what brings you, Cindy, the most joy? Is it the color transformations? Is it your cutting techniques or working with extensions?
Honestly, like I truly love like everything. And then I would have said like, oh, I love extensions. Like, yeah, because it takes me to a different place because it's slower pace for me and it's calming. But yeah, I think any type of transformation really is what gets me because
Mhm.
it's what you're giving to your guests and the light in their eyes. Like, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
you get that a lot with extension hair because hair is a big thing for women.
Yes.
So it's more impactful, I would say. But any type of, real transformation for someone, it's that feeling that you can give someone with your talents.
Yeah, making someone feel prettier, making someone feel more confident. That is the best part of our jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to your point, extensions are more impactful because if you're going through like what I'm going through, which I'm going to share when I get the courage to share my true hair journey as I've gotten into menopause and the things my hair is no longer doing. I'm like, I don't even know you, hair. I have no idea who you are because you used to perform, you used to have shine, you used to be thick, you used to I could do anything I wanted. Now I'm like, I don't even know what to do with my hair. So I wear extensions. I wear wigs. I like wigs mostly because I like to change my look and it's easy and fast and
Yeah,
quick.
they're great.
And I take them off every day. But I've never had to wear, I've always worn extensions or wigs by choice, not by misfortune. And now it's by misfortune. So I'm mad. So I I'm going to share my journey. I'm going to take this thing off on my YouTube channel
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm going through this hair oiling journey, this just hair growth and strength journey. We'll see.
Let me know.
So,
I'll be on
yeah,
it.
so if you're watching, I'm going to add that to the YouTube channel and only on the YouTube channel. And just make that a side segment because
Yeah,
why not go through it with me and get to know me better and what's happening behind the scenes.
for sure. Real life.
Hmm. What has been the biggest challenge you faced as a stylist and how did you overcome it?
Biggest challenge. My biggest challenge has always been like my fear. I
Mhm.
don't really think I've overcome that. It's like, you know, it's always held me back. Um, it's just, I guess, doing things like this. I'm putting myself out there. I am totally like not comfortable. If you don't notice that, you know.
And I don't know why, because you have so much to give. Your information is so valuable. It's going to help so many people. You're going to inspire someone just like yourself, right? Because there's always someone we see who inspires us and who we can see ourselves in. And, we talked a little bit about this off camera. I'm just as nervous as you are right now, I'm telling you, but the more I do something, the more comfortable I am. I remember when I was afraid to fly. And, this year traveling 16 and a half hours one way nonstop was a lot for me. And when I travel over water, it's even worse. And anything you do overseas, you're traveling over water for a very long time. So what I decided to do is like what you're doing now. I said, where is the fear coming from? Because I have a very personal and strong relationship in my faith. And I know fear is not of God, period. And I wanted it out of my body. So I said, where's the fear coming from? I'm no longer afraid to fly because now I understand the nuances of being on a plane. I know what it means when it jerks. And as long as I have a handle on the outcome, because that may be the control freak in me, I'm like, I have to know the outcome first. And I don't know if I don't know who's in control of this. If I don't feel like I'm in control is when that anxiety starts to kick in.
Yeah.
So I said, what's the best way to combat this fear of flying long distances over water? Where is it coming from? And what I realized was I don't know how to swim. I know that is such a Black person stereotype. I am the stereotype. All right. But I'm of the old generation of Black people, and we didn't learn back then. But my sons and grandsons know.
Yeah.
But I said, it's because I don't know how to swim. And if I were to fall into water, not that I would survive anyway, right? You're not going to survive. But I think that's what makes me scared. So if I learn how to swim, I can just relax and go, you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I do with this, just like you doing this right now, I said, I was always the one afraid to raise my hand, too shy, don't want to draw attention to myself. None of that. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, let the other person do it and I'll just be in the back, And so I'm like, but you're right. It's a limiting belief and it stopped me from doing a whole lot of things. So I congratulate you for being here and for being courageous to put yourself out. And I hope you do more of it because I want to see more of you and everything you're doing. Yeah. So as someone who is of Asian descent, and I share that with you. I have a little bit of Asian actually in my ancestry. Have you faced any unique challenges or experiences in the beauty industry? And what I mean by that is this. Representation is not always there. It's not always great. At least for Black people, it isn't. I know that even when I'm trying to do thumbnails, you can take something like Canva. And I'm like, I want a picture. You can Google hairdresser, right? And see what comes up in the industry, in the images. Not one Black hairdresser there. So it's just wild. Right. It's just something silly as that, right? You can Google short hair on Google to see if you can find an inspiration. And unless you type in short hair for Black women, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like the default is not us, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So what is your experience been in the industry being Asian?
I've never, I don't know, maybe I've just never noticed anything, as far as, my race or whatever. Maybe as a female, I can definitely see the difference sometimes with clients and male and female stylists. But I don't know. It's
I know that with being a Black woman, you can go to a salon and, it's, oh, I don't know how to do your hair. You can experience me. I do all textures of hair. I came up in Tony and Guy, for God's sakes, a European company, and specialized in hair cutting. So my clientele is very diverse. But if you're new coming in, and I've even seen it happen where a client of mine will refer a white client where we will refer a friend, and maybe they didn't tell them I was Black. And so they walk in like, oh, like somehow because of my race, that means I don't understand your hair texture, for example. Do you know what I'm saying? So I wondered, do other cultures experience the same thing who are non-European?
I guess from what the standpoint of of my clients say, a lot of Asians, seem to think that other cultures may not know how to do their hair,
Right.
but I think we're growing as a
Yes.
people. And like now you'll see there was a huge spike in African American hair, like in within the last, I don't know. And now everybody's sort of a curly texture specialist.
Oh,
Oh, so um, and I even re-educated myself. Like I'm not sure what year it was, but I took a class with Mizani.
ooh,
So,
okay.
and I like way back when, and I'm not really want to date myself, but I learned how to cut curly hair in a curly form, different of how Mizani teaches too now. But and it's it's definitely come a long way. And a lot more people are sort of like jumping on that bandwagon. I mean, it is a huge, huge number in our industry. I don't even know what it is like as far as like dollars go, but you know, um, but it's me particularly, I love curly hair.
Hmm.
So, you know, and I would hate to not be able to, I don't know, especially with specializing, I would hate not to be able to service somebody. So I think like that's another thing in our industry. I feel like they tell you you have to specialize.
Right.
You can only do one thing,
Yeah.
be good at one thing. And again, I've always gone against the grain, and I just like to be and have my hands in everything.
No, I agree. I agree with you. And for a new hairdresser, it is confusing because they're like, pick, farm
Really.
one thing, like be a blonde specialist, be a this, because it is a whole thing. Now, if
Mhm.
you want to niche to just one thing, um, go for it, right?
But you
But
limit yourself.
you do, you do. Like, what if you want to do fashion week
Yeah,
and you only know how to do one thing?
right.
And it's like I hate that I came from that departmentalized environment and
Mhm.
never learned how to do color back then because I would have, you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
All I've done is cut, and that's ridiculous. Honestly. I mean cut, style, extensions.
yeah.
All right, with so many areas of expertise, how do you continue to learn and evolve in your craft? Like who inspires you, Cindy? What classes do you take? Are there different influencers who you learn from or that you trust?
I mean, there's definitely been a lot that have, like, shaped my career and helped me a lot throughout the years. Um, to start, Redken, their education has always been great and amazing, and that's sort of where I started. Education is key. I mean, I think it gets thrown around a lot, but it really is, and you have to have the drive to sort of, like, want to be better.
Mhm.
But, um that's what's great about Instagram is that you can, sometimes people pop up on your page and it might be an
Yeah.
educator that, you're like, oh, and also
Mhm.
just little things that they may do that gives you the inspiration to sort of like, um, want to do or try new things. Um, but I think I veered away.
I think you are an educator.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think that you think outside of the box and you come up with making something your own, which makes you an innovator, not just a follower.
thanks. I appreciate that. My
Mhm.
biggest thing is just to share what I've learned throughout the years, you
Mhm.
know? Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
but we can all learn from everybody. It's an ever-changing industry.
Yeah.
It's never stagnant, and
Yeah.
there's always new things that, you know, are gonna be out there, and so you kinda just have to jump on that bandwagon and, be open to new things and try new things. I think
Yeah,
that's
and I'm obsessed with the new generation. I can't wait to see what they bring to the table. I just love that new outlook, that new take on things. What advice do you have for new stylists looking to make a name for themselves? Is there anything, because when you're coming into this industry, it is so broad, so great, so many talented people. It can be intimidating.
Mhm.
Um, what's your advice for someone that's like, God, I want to be a Cindy Earl Covic someday? Like, how do what do I do?
Oh my gosh, just be a sponge. Grab every bit of knowledge that you can, learn, hustle, work hard, don't give up. Oh man. Um, Learn from your mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and just be humble and your authentic self. I think social media, if it's in the world of social media, people want to see who you are and for,
Mm-hmm.
raw and yeah, just your authentic self.
Yeah, I talk to new hairdressers and they're like starstruck. Oh, I went to the BTC Awards and I saw so and so and so and so, and they're just like green and hungry. I love it. It's so
Yeah.
cute. It's my favorite thing. What is next for you as we close this up? What's your future goals? I called you an educator, but do you see that for yourself? Do you see yourself doing courses someday, or who are you going to be 10 years from now, 5
Oh,
years from now?
I was hoping to be retired on a beach, but
Yeah, I'll go with you. I'm
yeah.
right there with you, girl.
What I see for myself,
Mhm.
hopefully to get over my fear and actually educate and be able to stand in front of people and share my knowledge. Um, and I think we all have the dream of like being our own business owner.
Mhm, mhm.
So who knows? The
Yeah.
world is our oyster or something like that.
Mhm. Yeah, it is. That's what they say. I never knew what that meant, but I got it. All in our hand, in the palm of our hand. That's the way
Right?
I receive it. And you said that, just to reiterate, you've been in the business over 20 years now.
Yeah.
Mhm. And you're
Mhm.
married.
I am married. It's actually going to be my birthday in, I don't know how many days it is right now. On the 22nd of this month.
Happy birthday or
Thank
happy early birthday.
you. Yeah.
Well,
I'll be
you look 12. I don't know
okay.
how
I'll
old
take
you are.
that. Yeah. 45.
What?
Yeah. So
Never in a million years. Me and my Asian husband, we always say black don't crack and Asian don't
no
raisin.
reason.
That's the way it goes. So you've heard that one too?
Yeah.
That's great.
Uh,
I love it. We got that going for us.
yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so at the end of each episode, you are familiar with the little fun game I play, rapid fire, which I call the 60-second blowout. So let's do
Oh.
it. Let's see how fast you can go through these questions. You're like, let's invite the timer to the stage. Favorite hair tool?
Oh my goodness. There's so many. I
If
don't
you could dye your hair any color for a day, what would it be?
for a day.
Mhm.
Pink. Pastel pink.
Morning person or night owl?
Oh, night owl.
Go to coffee order.
Solo caramel macchiato with skim milk.
Favorite music to play in the salon?
Oh, we're always fighting with that one. So I like oldies.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Hidden talent.
I don't have one.
What's your dream vacation spot?
Anywhere on the beach
What's
with
one hair trend you hope never comes back?
mullet.
Favorite way to unwind after a long day?
Shower.
All right. Well, hey, ain't bad. You did good. Not bad at all. And to show how humble you are, let's show our guest. Make your silliest selfie face. Do you have one?
Yeah, I have a go-to. Am I
What
gonna
is
do
it?
it right now?
Yes. I love it. And I love that you're humble. You're humble enough. You're not shy enough to do that. That's good. Well, Cindy, it was so nice to meet you. I enjoyed our chat. I think that you gave valuable information for the next generation of hair coming right behind you. I am curious. I will be asking you more questions off camera because some of those techniques were intriguing. And I just appreciate you coming on and giving me your time today.
I appreciate you having me.
Aw.
Thank you for getting me out my box.
Yes, exactly. And maybe next year I can have you on again. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
We'll see where you are.
That's if you would have me.
Yeah, of course I would have you. Are you joking? This is very natural, very organic, and I actually really enjoyed.
Likewise. Thank you.
You're welcome. Until next time, have the best week. Bye.
Bye.